welcome back to my channel. Do you guys notice anything different? By now you've seen the nursery reveal, and so I thought today's video would be fitting for me to actually film in baby girl's nursery that is completely done, and I cannot tell you guys how excited I am to be done with this room. I think doing this room and putting it together provided a much needed distraction for me during my pregnancy, and I'm so glad that I put so much effort into it because it is really a good space for her to grow up and just her to be, and for us to be as we care for her. And so I'm really glad that I got it done, and I have it behind me, and baby girl will be here in about 3 weeks now. So yeah, I'm glad it's done. So I thought it would be good to film today's video in her room. Today's video is long awaited. Well, maybe not long awaited. Today's video is long overdue. Let me just say that. It is a video where I am going to tell you the things I believe I did that helped me conceive after a very invasive myomectomy surgery. As you guys know, about a year ago, June 2018, I had a myomectomy, an abdominal myomectomy done where I had 70 fibroids removed. And because of that, the doctors were concerned about me being able to conceive naturally. Some of the things I did that I believe helped me get pregnant, aside from the fact that God had me. But these are some of the things that I did in addition to praying and, you know, really having faith that everything was going to work out. These are some steps I took because, you know, as they say, faith without works. So one of the first things that I did, and I think this is important for women in general to do, is I tracked my cycle. So I got very comfortable with my monthly menstrual cycle, knowing which days of the month I menstruated and how many weeks my actual cycle was, so from beginning to end. So as I've said before in previous videos, I have what is called a shorter length cycle. A normal cycle is from 21 to 28 days. My cycle is more around the 22-23 day time frame, and so understanding that and getting comfortable with that was like very important to me. And to do that, I used an app. The app that I used to track my cycle was the Flo App. That was very helpful for me. I put in, you know, when my cycle came, how long it lasted, my heavy days, my light days, and then as you put that in each month, Flo begins to do like kind of like an analysis for you and kind of helps you predict your cycle from month to month. So that was number one. That was very important, is that I tracked my cycle. Then I also, in addition to tracking my cycle, I also purchased these ovulation strips from Amazon. And this is the actual, and I'll link everything below, but this is the actual kit that I purchased from Amazon. It's called Easy at Home Ovulation Test Kit. It comes with 50 LH tests and 20 HCG tests. So the LH test is the one where it monitors your LH surge, which is what you get right before you ovulate. You get a right before the egg is released, you get an LH surge, which signals that you are ovulating. And then HCG is the actual pregnancy test. I think this costs about $20 from Amazon. Again, I'll link it below. So what I would do is every month when my cycle would come, my cycle generally lasts about 3 to 5 days, right? Right after my cycle ended, I went into the period. I think I had, because my cycle is so short, I think I had maybe about 3 to 5 days or 3 to 4 days between when my cycle ended and when I began to ovulate. But I knew that by taking these ovulation test kits, test strips, by doing these. And then what I would do is that particular test kit also came with an app. Let me tell you the name of the app that relates to the Pre-Mom app. So it's powered by Easy at Home. These are all apps that you can get. Again, I'll link it below. All apps you can get from the App Store. I'm assuming they're on Google Store. And so the Pre-Mom app, what it allowed me to do is every time I would take my ovulation, do an ovulation test strip, I would log that into the pre-app tracking system, and it showed me kind of like on a scale like how high my LH surge was to let me know if I was really ovulating. So when you have the peak in your LH surge, that's when you're ovulating, and then after ovulation is when your LH surge decreases. What I'm gonna try to do is see, and I think I should have in here, I don't know if I have in here where the chart that I used when I got the chart that I used when I conceived. I'm trying to find that. I should have found that before I started doing this video. Okay, I got it. I don't need that. Okay, perfect. I found the actual cycle when I actually ovulated or whatever, and when I conceived. Okay, so I don't know when I can't remember when I got my cycle when I did the strip, but you can see here. So I started testing on cycle day, I think this was probably like cycle day 9, because it looked like I started ovulating between cycle day 9 and cycle day 12. So cycle day 9 is when I started actually doing the ovulation test strips, and then you can see that I had an LH surge on cycle day 10. So that let me know like I was ovulating on cycle day 10. And so of course you want to make sure you have sex with your partner during the period in which you are ovulating. So that was key. These ovulation test scripts and knowing your cycle, tracking your cycle, understanding your body is definitely the #1 key to making sure you get pregnant, or assuring that you get pregnant, because there's no point in having sex during the period of time when you're not ovulating, because you're not gonna get pregnant. So yeah, so that was important. And this is only if you're trying to conceive. Of course, you have sex with your partner anytime you get it, you feel like it. But if you're like specifically just trying to conceive and you're making sure, for me, I was just trying to make sure I was in that year window, because I didn't want to have to start worrying about the fibroids growing back. So I was really on the time schedule. I felt like in my head that could have been true, that could have not been true, but here I am pregnant. So that is important, the ovulation test scripts. So downloading the Pre-Mom app, tracking your ovulation, understanding when you're having your peak LH surge, and ensuring that you're having sex during your fertile window is very important. Something else I did is I made sure that we had sex the day we ovulated, the day I ovulated, and the day after, because sometimes that window is a little bit delayed. So you just want to make sure that you're giving yourself the option to have like sperm where it needs to be for the egg to reach it within a period of time it needs to reach it. The funny thing is you only have an egg can only be fertilized in a 24-hour window. But a sperm can live up in a woman's vaginal area for up to 5 days. So it's a funny, you got to figure out like the perfect mix between when you're ovulating, having sex, and all of that to get the optimal result. So that's why I say you got to try a few different techniques to understand, when is the peak time for you. And I did this. I tested, I tracked my ovulation. I think I began tracking it in January, and then I conceived in May. So you want to track it for, more than 3 months at least, unless you get, you get lucky and you're blessed and you get, you conceive immediately. But if you're not seeing that, you're going to have to try to figure out the right rhythm that kind of works for you. Okay, so another thing I did is I started taking these Vitex berry pills. Vitex is a herbal supplement that does not have any hormones or hormone-like substances, but what it does is it causes your pituitary gland to be stimulated to produce more progesterone. And so progesterone is what you need to kind of help in the like incubating stage of like getting the egg fertilized and all of that. So that is a key part of the fertilization period and process. So it's important for you to have adequate progesterone levels in order for your egg to be fertilized and to make it down and do what it needs to do, for so many words. I'm not a medical doctor, but progesterone is very important in the process. So this pill actually stimulates the pituitary gland and regulates the pituitary gland to make more progesterone. And so I started taking those in January. The same time I stopped taking birth control. I actually didn't start taking those immediately. I gave myself a month to get regulated from taking birth control. So I think I started taking these at the end of January, even though I stopped taking birth control at the end of December. And I was taking those once a day until I got pregnant. And I even took them after I got pregnant because when I was telling my fertility doctor that I was taking them, he was like, okay, I want you to keep taking them because sometimes if you stop, it causes a sharp decrease in your progesterone level and it can cause you to miscarry. So I had to take those pills up until 12 weeks, and then I slowly started weaning myself off of them after I got through my first trimester. But I think these were really an important part of me being able to conceive, because I started seeing changes in my body and I didn't notice it until after the fact. Like my breasts, they got big and I was like, what is going on with my breasts? I didn't think that it might have been those pills, but I think that kind of helped jumpstart my body to be able to produce enough progesterone to have healthy eggs and all of that, and for it to be fertilized. So that was one thing. Again, I will link the YouTube. I can't remember the young lady's name, but she was a godsend because I didn't know anything about this until I looked this up on YouTube. I think I found out about it as I was like researching how to decrease fibroids, because these are also good for fibroids. If you have an issue with fibroids, these are good because this helps regulate your cycle. So I'll link the YouTube page that I found out about the young lady who put a video up about it, and said, because she was suffering with the polycystic ovarian syndrome, POX. I think I'm saying that right. I'll put it up here if I'm butchering it. Sorry. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. But anyway, she was suffering with that, and she was saying how taking these pills actually helped her conceive her 2 sons. So that was very key for me. And I took them, and it's like something you have to take every day. You can't start taking these and stop. It's almost like, you know, your vitamin. To see it actually work in your body and everything, you have to take it every day. Another thing I did is I was taking prenatal vitamins. I was taking prenatal vitamins for over a year. Just to start getting my body ready for, you know, having enough folic acid and all of that in my body to get it ready for conception. And these are the ones that I was taking. These are the Rainbow Light Prenatal non-GMO, and I got these from Target. So I would take one of these every day like clockwork. I started taking these like September 2018. Was it September 2018? It might have been September 2017. I was taking these for a while. And I also found that by taking those prenatal vitamins, I think it kind of helped me not have as many of the first trimester syndrome symptoms that a lot of women have, because my body was pretty much ready for conception. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still had occasional nausea here and there, but I was like not vomiting, and I didn't have a lot of the, you know, instant issues that you often get in that first trimester. And the same thing with my best friend. We were talking about it because she was taking prenatals for a while before she got pregnant as well. So that's just a tip. I mean, it could be something, it could be a fluke for us, but if you're trying to conceive, try to start taking prenatal vitamins as early as you can. They're not harmful to your body to take them if you're not pregnant. So they can't hurt for you to take them, start taking them early if you know that you're trying to conceive a child. And I want to say that was it. Oh, the last thing, and I didn't write this down because this was a part of my video I made. I will maybe try to put that video in the cards right here, but there was a video I made, and it was a very somber video, very transparent video, where I was like, after I had just came from the fertility doctor that week, my husband and I had got some news, and little did I know, the baby was already, you know, egg was getting fertilized and all that stuff during that time, coincidentally, when I made that video. But we had went to the doctor, and I had gotten my results back from the test that I had. So if you saw that video, you know that I talk about a process that I had to do with the fertility specialist where I did an HSG test, which is basically where they go in and insert this thigh and try to see how your fallopian tubes are operating, like to make sure you don't have any blockage and all that stuff. I did that before I conceived. So I actually did that test. I had that test done in April. I conceived in May. So that was something else. And I was looking and kind of like doing my research on it, and they actually said that HSG test has helped a lot of women who think that they suffer from infertility or might have been suffering from infertility, that you should definitely have that test done before you start IVF, because that could solve your problems. And for me, it could have contributed to me getting pregnant. I don't know. I'm just telling you guys a combination of things I did to get pregnant with my baby girl, and I'm so blessed and thankful for everything working out. But I will say that I was very diligent and focused. Looking back, it was definitely something that I put work into. I didn't just, you know, sit and say, oh, I'm gonna get pregnant. You know, my husband and I are gonna, you know, have sex, make love, and I'm gonna get pregnant. I didn't just rely on that. I researched and made sure I had my body in the most optimal condition to actually conceive. So that's like my number. If you take nothing away from this video, take away that you just need to make sure you do the work to make sure your body is in the best condition. Make sure you've talked to your GYN. Make sure you are tracking your cycle. Make sure you are knowing when you ovulate. Make sure you are having sex within the right period of time. And just make sure that you have exhausted all your options and that your body is functioning in that regard at its most highest potential. And then put the best effort out there, you know. And then one thing I did not do though is that I was not super stressed about it. I don't think I got to the point where I was like, and that could be a blessing that I had. I'm not taking anybody's story or journey for granted, because everybody's story isn't the same. But I can say that I was still, you know, natural with my husband. I wasn't like, you know, forcing it and all of that. You know, I made sure we were within that window, but it wasn't like, okay, we gotta do this time now. You know, it wasn't like that. You know, still, you know, have, you know, natural, you know, whatever your natural process is with your partner, still make sure that is intact, while also making sure you're doing it in the time frame you should. So yeah, I think that is it, because I'm starting to ramble, but this is just a snapshot of kind of like the things I did that I believe contributed to me being able to conceive. And I just wanted to put that out there for some people who have been following my journey. I wanted to make it known that it wasn't just something that I looked up on, that I did actually do a lot of work. I went to a fertility specialist. I, you know, was taking these pills and researching things that I thought would help my condition. And so that's just all that I charge you with. If you're really wanting to conceive, just make sure you're doing all you can to make yourself aware of your options and different things that you can do to help that become a reality. So yeah. Alright, well, I hope this video was helpful to someone. Like I said before, I'll link down below everything I talked about in regards to the pills, to the ovulation kit, and to the apps that I actually downloaded to track my ovulation and my cycle. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.